Alrighty, so we are back at it again with another one of these videos about the Zettelkasten. You guys really seem to love this one, and you guys left a ton more comments for me to look through. And so what I really wanted to do was start diving into those. We had a lot of interesting things. Personally, there was like a ton of different things you guys were suggesting, like as different alternatives to what was suggested. We had RemNote. Foam was one that popped up 2 or 3 times actually, and then we also had Obsidian here. Like, there's a lot of different things here, and I was talking about a little bit how I was using a new system called Room Research. So I wanted to really get into these things together. As you can see, I'm like in an apartment, going up and visiting family that are having a little bit of health issues at the moment, but I'm here because why not? And so let's see here. First things first, you guys really seem to like these videos. I made a secondary video, so this is a part 3. Here, I'm going to show the background. So you guys, let's see, part 3. This video you guys really seem to like. We talked a lot about some questions that you guys had about the overall like thought process and theory behind the system. And now this video, I'm going to go through looking at some alternatives and what I finally decided on as a new alternative that I've been using. So the first episode we talked about was really about how a cheap Zettelkasten would work completely for free, and I still have that system on here actually. Let's see, Visual Studio Code. We talked about and walked through this entire system last time. This is not the one. Let's see, open folder. It was literally just a folder with a whole bunch of markdown notes. Free, works awesome. And then we went through, and my dad I was like trying to convince him, I was like, hey, you know what? You might want to try this system out. And as you can see on the left, where did all the timestamps go? I mean, this one still has a timestamp, but like, oh, that's weird. Like the timestamps aren't here. And then I accidentally broke everything. Possibly. Yeah, I broke everything. So wait, is this? Oh yeah, they're all broken. So basically what happened is, this is still the old Zettelkasten. As you can see, all of the things are still here, and as you notice, all the links are different. What we did is we went through and replaced all of these links with a new system of linking, the one that Room Research, which I'll talk about a little bit more in a second here, went through and replaced all of the links. There was 3,501 links that I had hand typed by myself to create the Zettelkasten system that I had before then, and it was with 276 different nodes. So it grew to be quite a large project, and as you might like assume, a project that large, it takes a lot of time to get it to that point, and putting a lot of time investment in that. I mean, that's what I've been basically doing with a lot of my free time. I haven't been working on my podcast or anything like that recently because of that, because I've been working on this project a lot. So it really came down to a point of, let's see if I can actually find it. It's going to be the multiply, there we go, multiply your time decision filter. Oh, but it's all sad and broken. But I have my Room Research over here that I can just open up. So I'll just give you guys a little peek into what we're going to be talking about here. Multiply your time decision filter. Boom. Okay, so basically the whole idea that led me to away from my original Zettelkasten, that works just fine, okay? There is nothing wrong with the Roam system on a Visual Studio system with one markdown writer, or one writer, and using that as your mobile going through Dropbox. That system works fine. It still works today. And there's even more attachments and things that you can do to get graphs and different things that'll make it even better and awesome. So nothing's wrong with that. What I am going to talk about is how to like next level it, because if you're going to spend a lot of time as I have with this, you might want to invest a little bit and get more time back in your life, because you realize that after you go through the process of going and adding all of these little links, you realize it takes a lot of time, because you're spending a lot of time and thought on creating links and structure and formatting, more so than you are about the actual substance you're writing about. And that's really what this investment of going to Roam Research is, or was for me, because it basically said, okay, you know what, if I'm going to be spending like 20, 30, 60 hours a month working on this, if I invest a little bit more, like less than what I make in an hour, so if I invest an hour of what I work and make financially into my hobby, I might be able to get 3-5 hours back from having to sit down and write all of these links, because you see how link writing is just as simple as, there we go. It's just as simple as literally just going here and then I can find anything. So let's say productivity hub, let's see pops up super easily. I mean, like, there's all of these different little things. I want to destroy this. This is one of my favorite nodes. There's a whole bunch of little like autocomplete keys with images, bolding, structured text, all that sort of stuff that you can do. There's also a every single day for Rome. It has its own like little thing you can add. Like, okay, I was like, for a while I was thinking about, okay, why do I read? And I came through this whole thought process of what I was trying to get out of reading books and this thing and that thing. And so then it kind of led me, okay, the next thing, how can I get more out of reading? And then is there more efficient system? So I kind of like went with this fluid system. I went back to all of the layered reading and past things. So there's like this, it's a very fluid research and thought process. Now, why would I go with Rome versus what I had before? Basically by investing, we can go back to the pricing over here. Rome research pricing. Should be able to just pop up here. Okay. So it's about $8. This isn't the official website. I hate it when they do this. There we go. Pricing. Here we go. So it's $15 a month, and that actually gives you 3 different Rome packages, which is kind of awesome. But if you see right here, I don't know if you guys noticed this. Where is it? The Rome Scholars Program. You might want to apply for this, especially considering the time that we're in right now. But if you are a full-time researcher or under 22, or you're working for a school, you're a scholar, something like that, you can get a 50% reduction in the overall cost. Of course, you just have to fill out this form. I filled it out, very simple form. So you could do it for like $5 a month or $7 a month or something like that. But it's a very, very awesome like thing that they have set up. That's really cool that they do that. You can see $15 a month. That's pretty decent price, especially going from something that's completely free to something that's paid. It's a huge jump mentally because you go from no risk to suddenly 100% more risk than before. So I can completely understand. Let's see, this comment that we had here. It would be great if you could make a video of the comparison of this system with Rome Research. Many of us are confused whether to make that leap, which is quite expensive. I completely agree, especially because this is a monthly cost. It isn't like a one-time payment. I completely understand that. And I think a big thing that came down to is there's a few different features, right? It's really when you start paying for something, you're looking for the amount of time, energy, money, resources, right? Because when you're doing something free, you can always have that, and worst case scenario, you always have that with you, and it's not like somebody else is in charge or holding that, right? And so completely understand that. And that's kind of, I really didn't want to switch over Rome, but I was like, I had the opportunity to do like a free trial for a little bit, tried it out, and converted everything over and imported it in. And it started, like, I started really loving how simple it is to just start writing. It made it so much, especially when you've got so much to write. Like recently, I'm working right now of going through this one book called The Art of the Cut, and it is this huge editing book. It is actually a textbook that I'm reading for fun because I'm a nerd that loves editing. But if I go to Editing Hub here, because I'm lazy, so you can see I have like the entire books, like basically chapters and everything, and I've broken them down. These are all the definitions that appear in this chapter, the key takeaways, and I've got pictures that are from the book and like all this stuff. I'm sure this stuff is like copyrighted or something, but this is an example, so whatever. But you can see like I've gone through each of these different things. It talks about all the editing structure, and I realized that like if I were to have stayed with the old system that I was using before, which still works, I have nothing against the system. I really do enjoy that system. I'm just saying, like, for the next up level, for paying a little bit more each month, I can get something that will save me 3-6 hours a month, which to me, I'd much rather have the time than I would have the money, especially with all of the different hobbies that I have and all those sorts of things. So that's kind of my reason behind it. I think I've gone through that one too many times, but point is, you know, that's why I've kind of stuck with this system and why I'm switching over. Now, the other thing that I had was the whole risk. Okay, what happens if something breaks, if I lose data, or if they shut down in the future, or if I want to stop paying for it, right? They have this little fancy feature where you can export your entire thing into Markdown. So you can just easily, just with one click of the button, say you try it out for a month and you're like, this isn't for me. Export it to Markdown, it goes back into your old system. Works just fine. You can also do it in JSON, and it will give you every single sheet. So you can see my Zettelkasten has actually grown to be quite huge. It was half this size when I started using Rome, but because Rome has just been so interesting, you can see I can actually drag these guys around. But it's just like there's so much here. It's like it's such a cool. I wish the graphing. I mean, like if you look at Obsidian, Obsidian's graphing system is so much better. Foam even seems to have a better graphing system. These are both alternatives. RemNotes, I didn't see a graph on here. I think it was like a work in progress things, but these are some of the alternatives that other people were talking about. Were like, oh man, you know, have you tried out Foam, or have you tried out Rome, Obsidian, these other things? So let's start diving into these guys, shall we? We have Foam was one that was suggested by Jifeng and Larza Turos. And so it's an extension for Foam. This is the page that it's linked into the description section below, so you can check that out. Seems like really just kind of like they put Rome Research into Visual Studio, so it's like you get the best of both worlds. And it looks like they have all of the things in here. So let me see if I can find where this is. Let's see, multiplier thing, extensions. Let's see if Foam shows up. Oh, look, there it is. Install. We're gonna try this out and see if it works. Hopefully it does. I would love it to work. Now, what do they want you to start? Create a Git repository. Foam template. Oh, so you have to do a Git and open it in VS. Interesting. Very interesting. I wonder if... So, oh, that looks cool. Interesting. Oh, I don't think this is actually Foam. But, I'd really hate if I wasn't able to just quickly do this. How does Foam work? Okay. Gotta go through and read this whole thing. Oh, you can share it too. That's cool. See that? Free to share it, collaborate with anyone you want. That's one of the cool things about Rome Research as well, is that you can share it with unlimited amount of people. So what you could do is, if you wanted, you could find 3 people who are also looking to get Rome, and then give them editor privileges on their own thing, which is what I've done. And so you can divide the price by 3, share it with 3 people, and let them be editors of the program themselves. And then you could also share it with other people if you wanted to build one collective thing. We have one for work that I've been using. Kind of convince them to get a Rome set up with that. And so that's been really cool. So you can have unlimited people for that, which is a really, really cool thing. I can share it with my friend and just be like, oh, hey, hop over to this thing, and we can start working on that sort of stuff. So it's a pretty cool system, I will say. I really do enjoy that. So let's see. Foam seems to be, let me see. Looks like, oh, so you use it with different, I'll leave this page in the description. It looks like there is, oh yeah. Yeah, see, look at, there's some of the ones that we were talking about with creating this. It looks like all you have to do is just add Foam, and it should just let you start working with links and such. Does Foam work? No, it doesn't. Oh well, this is disappointing. Well, I'll have to keep looking at this. Oh, use this template. And that doesn't work either. Great. So it looks like Foam is going to take a little bit longer for me to figure out the fine print of actually getting it to work. I'm sure I'm doing like 10 things wrong. I'm just in a little bit of a time crunch here at the moment, but Foam does look like, if you could get Foam up and working, it looks like it'd be awesome. So that would be really cool if you could get Foam set up the same way. I'll have to do some more research into that and make a more polished video than something as quick and dirty as this. Obsidian. Now, people were saying before them, talking about Obsidian. I did try this one out. It looks like, so Obsidian, they've got a free one, that is set up where it's just basically, it looks like just kind of a glorified graphing program, if I'm going to be brutally honest here. It looks like there's a lot of different plugins and APIs and stuff. It looks like its own, so you can sync it to the website and host it online so other people could. So it looks like, for it about half the price of Rome, you can get kind of the same thing. So it's a little bit interesting. When I tried using this, it actually created and messed with some of the folder data or the markdown data, which I wasn't so happy about. But it did have a very, very cool graph, and that's basically, I downloaded it, looked at the graph, and then I kind of uninstalled it. But it does, I would say that if you're, I think, what is it, point version, oh wow. From the point when I downloaded Obsidian first, it was in version 0.4.6, and that was, I'd say, about a month ago, and now they're already at 0.8, so that is pretty cool that they have developed that very, very fast. So we'll take a deep dive in here real quick, if it loads. It's installing. I don't even know if the link will work. Let's see here. Take folder. Here is Obsidian, and it's not linked up, but there is everything. And you can see this is a lot less than the Rome research is right now, because everything's not linked together. Oh, what a shame. What a shame. Oh, Rome research tag fixer. Let's just see that. Oh, wow. Everything. Interesting. So it going through and it's converting everything from Rome to Obsidian. Interesting. I wonder if that just completely broke everything. Let's see here. Yeah, I should have read the fine print. And it's still not working. Yay. Try refreshing the program and seeing if that works. I am just not having a lot of luck. I feel like I'm not giving a great tutorial of these programs if I'm not able to get them to work on the first. Oh, wow. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I remember this being very, very cool. So let's see. You can see this is the Zettelkasten. And it looks like a neural network. And I think that personally to me makes it look really, really cool. Now, I don't think that, like, this is cool to look at. I'm just wondering how much I'd actually use it. Oh, there's 2 indexes. Interesting. But you can see Productivity Hub, Time Management Hub, Productivity Hub. Oh, wait, there's 2? Interesting. Oh, because the terminology productivity. It seems that something has gone awry here. So I would say read the fine print before you start just jumping into this thing, because I think it just broke everything. But breaking the thing you work on, I've got a backup of it, so it doesn't really bother me as much. So you can see everything out here that's kind of like floating. That was one of the principles of the Zettelkasten itself, as we were talking about earlier. Anything that's left floating and isn't attached to anything will kind of die off because you'll never really see it ever again. So it's important to have things linked together. But I have to say, Obsidian, the way that they do the graph, and I think here's the ultimate test. If I open Obsidian again, will it show up the same program? Because Obsidian seems to refresh and do a new, I don't know, seems to be about the same where everything was the first time. Interesting. I guess it's the VS Code extension that had the similar, it would refresh the graph every time you would go into it, so the graph would be in a different position every single time. That was really annoying. I believe it's called Markdown Links is the extension. It's the one that Foam was actually talking about. If you go to Foam here, they were talking about your recommended. So it looks like Rome and everything. I mean, it looks like everything, all of these things are changing so rapidly. I wish I had the time to document their progress and everything. But from a couple of months ago you could see that everything is really like leveled up like tenfold. The amount of things that have, like, I mean, the videos that are released already about the Zettelkasten system themselves have already grown so exponentially fast. It's kind of crazy. But it seems that these systems are going to be growing very, very fast in the upcoming things. So this is the markdown links. This one right now refreshes, or at least when I used it last, it would refresh the graph every time that you do it. And I could never get it to work because the way that they wanted the links to work is not what I had set up, so we had to go through and replace all those. So markdown links is great once it works. They're still, I mean, all of these programs are still in early development. You can see none of them are even version 1 yet. So it's really just going to be, as time progresses on, which ones stay in the top of my mind. So the last but not least here we have, let's see, what is this? RemNote. This one was suggested. I saw it right here. Okay, here we go. And Andrew was suggesting RemNote, and this one actually looks very cool system because of the space repetition system. Now, I personally myself use Anki. I just use Anki Web, and I have like a thing that I import basically very simply. I just copy the description that I have from Rome Research. So let's see here. Let's say I go to, let's go with plate film def. So when I go through, I'll just copy the definition the book gives, and then I'll just paste it into a card, and then I'll study it. So chem rules, I don't remember the terminology for chem rules, but they're basically groups of film that can be edited together. And then it's like, yeah, groups of film that can be edited together sequentially, and like, okay, hard. And it seems like it combines both the Zettelkasten system and the Anki space repetition system into one place. That is a really cool thing. I'm excited to hear about that. So let's see here. Each bullet's called rem. Everyone has their own name. I like to call them nodes. That's what I first attached to. Tab is an indent. Shift tab is to outdent. This looks like, I mean, this is awfully, I mean, let's do a side-by-side comparison here of this REM system and REM researchers, because you got to see like how similar these things are. Let's see here, editing hub. When I have, what I'll do is I actually turn it off. You can turn these things on and off, but look at bullet points with indents. Where have I seen this system before? Very, very, very similar. So you can see Rome seems to be one of the higher ups, or not at least higher up. It seems to me that everyone's competing against each other, which is actually really good because you can see how fast the progress is being made and new things are being added to this area, which is really, really cool. So we'll have to see in like the next couple months who's bringing out which feature and all that. So honestly, I think the competition in this area is going to be awesome. Really looking forward to see what people have, the creativity that they have, especially with the knowledge management systems. Super excited about that. So let's see. Seems like the same type of system we got over here where you can just close and indent things. Can you... Doesn't look like there's extra settings here. But there's something they said... Okay, wait a second. I saw something really cool. Crap, I lost it now because I'm not used to this system. Effective learning. I mean, honestly, I might just go through here and just start reading. Do not learn if you do not understand. Learn before you memorize. Interesting. Very, very interesting. So I'm going to have to actually go through here and read through this stuff and see what they're talking about, because it looks like... What is this? Oh, so this... Their queue. That's where your notes are. You're like, okay, RemNote. Show answer. Interesting. So you can be like, and then you, instead of saying like how much time it's going to take you, like, I know this concept. So it goes through the whole thing. So it's going to try and memorize descriptor. Interesting. I know this. Forgetting curve, I know that. Internet browser, I know that. Black. Oh, I don't know Spanish. Negra. Interesting. Didn't know that. So then what I think that's going to do is that... Oh, cool. So you can go back. Interesting. It like... When you hover over it, it will highlight it. That's very, very cool. I like that. And it looks to be that the system is free, or at least I haven't seen anything it says that it's expensive. This seems to be, where is, let me just do quick Google because I can, pricing. This is how organized I am. Because I make these videos on the fly. Music you actually hear isn't in post. I'm doing the music right now live because I don't want to edit in music. So anyway, this video's like already 30 minutes long. We love 30-minute videos. Splash top. I don't see anything for pricing anyway that I could find. It just shows me this. Interesting. Okay, well, here's Rem. I'm liking Rem. I don't think I'd switch to it already, or yet. Anyway, I think Rome's got a pretty good feel for me right now. So, anyway, other than that, that's kind of been what I've been looking at recently. You're welcome to look at all of these for yourself, and if you could tell me how they work, if you find one like, oh yeah, you know, I got foam to work out, then that'd be great. Shoot me something in the description section. Love to hear about that. If you guys want to hear, I actually had an episode about this recently. Go to my backlog for my podcast. It's actually one of the most recent episodes that I made. I was talking about the Zettelkasten. And so you can see that. Pretty sure my website has something about it too. And so, Zettelkasten. So it's got its own page. I even have videos in here that I was talking about it. So if you guys want to check that out, I'll leave that in the description section below. That has been very fun. But yeah, thank you so much for listening, and let me know what you guys think of these programs. Which one would you say is your favorite based off of what I've shown you and based off of your own research? Because, you know, when you're working with knowledge-based systems, I think you should do your own research, at least a little bit more. And this counts as your research, so. All right, anyway, thank you so much for watching, and as always, oh wait, I was going to do my podcast outro. Anyway, whatever, just leave me a comment or something.